All right, back for another beer review, and today I'm reviewing a beer from Foreign Objects, and they are out of New Paltz, New York, and this is their Blueberry Cobbler Imperial Stout, and this is a part of their Transgression Culture series. So this is an Imperial Stout that they are brewing with oats, rye, lactose, cinnamon, graham cracker crumbles, and fresh blueberry puree. Comes in at 12% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in the time of review. This can is approximately 3.5 months old. So on the back here, it says the Transgression Culture series of beers are new, intensified, and occasionally transgressive versions of new ideas and beers we've released in the past. And then they just talk about the ingredients and how they brew it and whatnot. And yeah, so I'm really excited to give this one a go because when it comes to Foreign Objects, I pretty much have drank only their hop-forward beers. So I have never had any kind of stout or dark beer from them. And this is the first one that I've ever seen in the Western New York area. It's funny because it says drink now, drink fresh. But this can showed up about 2 weeks ago. And when it showed up, it was already 3 months old. So, I mean, I can drink fresh only if it shows up fresh. So 3.5 months old, we should be fine. It obviously is a stout. A lot of adjuncts and stuff going on. But yeah, I'm curious to see what these guys can do with a stout. I really like their hop-forward beers. I've only reviewed, I think, one on the channel. But yeah, should be fun. So let's give it a pour. Now, somebody locally told me here that I guess people really enjoyed this one at a festival or something, and then they ended up actually canning it. So, like I said, I've really never heard anything about their darker beers or any of their stouts or anything. So this pours out a really deep, dark brown color. On camera, it's going to come off pitch black. In camera, though, it wasn't pouring pitch black. Has about a thin film of a straight up light brown colored head. It looked relatively creamy, but it is dissipating, yeah, to almost nothing. Yeah, it looks fine. Looks like a 12% beer with some adjuncts in it. That head's dissipating quite quickly. Has some alcohol legs. Let's get a nose. Ooh, definitely a tart blueberry to this. And they say cinnamon graham cracker crumbles. On here they actually say, I don't even want to, purée, noisette graham cracker crumbles, but it said cinnamon on the, I think was it their Instagram or website and on tap. So I'm just gonna go with cinnamon. Not really getting cinnamon. Now, tart blueberries. Actually, hang on, is that cinnamon? Yeah, there's a spiciness there. I wouldn't say necessarily 100% cinnamon, but I could see how, I could see how they're using cinnamon graham cracker crumbles. I'm not getting the graham cracker, but I'm definitely getting a spiciness that's akin to cinnamon. Definitely big, deep, dark chocolate vibes of this one. Like a borderline Hershey's Special Dark chocolate into like a 40-50% cacao bar, like kind of right in the middle. Not quite super sweet, but also not bitter as well. It's kind of in between, like bittersweet, dare I say. Yeah, a little bit of caramel, a little bit of toffee, a little bit of roasted malts. Not really, like I said, getting the straight on graham cracker. Not really picking up on vanilla or any kind of lactose either. That spiciness could be the rye as well, the rye in conjunction with the cinnamon from the graham cracker crumbles. Yeah, it doesn't smell desserty, but it definitely smells like a fruited Imperial Stout. Like I'm getting tart and semi-sweet blueberries. It doesn't smell amazing. It just smells pretty solid. My mouth is watering, so, oh my God, I had it wrong. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. It's pretty solid. It's a solid beer. First things first, 12%. Drinking under 10 at this point. There's a little bit of alcohol stringency on the palate, a little bit in the chest, but I couldn't tell you this is over 10% on the first two tastes. Sweeter chocolate in the taste, like a Hershey Special Dark. Right up front, you're hit with like a lot of malt character from the chocolate, caramel, toffee. It's passed through the palate. A little bit of that tart blueberry sticks its head out. Getting a slight touch of vanilla, probably from the lactose. And then it finishes with this semi-dry cinnamon spice to it. So it's semi-dry and it kind of cuts the sweetness a little bit. There's no bitterness. There's no perceived bitterness on my palate. It's more of a dryness, but it definitely finishes a little bit sweeter. The body on this one is higher side of medium, low side of full body. A bit thin at 12%. It's all right though. Not thick and chewy, but it's definitely close to being appropriate. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe higher side of me. Maybe this is a touch thin now. I'm thinking about it as I keep on tasting it. Yeah, definitely thin. Not super thin, but definitely a thin body. The mouthfeel, There's a slight like creaminess from the lactose. This has more carbonation than I anticipated from a 12% Imperial Stout that's a blueberry cobbler with lactose and everything. I'd like a little bit less carbonation in this one too. The best thing I can say about this one, honestly, is that it's super drinkable. As you can see, I keep on going back. There isn't really any alcohol astringency on the palate. There's nothing that I'm detecting on the palate that would say this is 12%. Like I said, I'm getting a pretty big chest warming into the stomach, but for the most part on the palate, the only thing I can tell that there's alcohol there is there's a substantial dryness. It could be coming from the cinnamon as well. There's cinnamon graham cracker crumbles. But I will say this, it doesn't drink like 12%. It's pretty easy to drink overall. There's just not a huge abundance of flavor here. I'm getting sweeter dark chocolate on the palate, some caramel, some toffee, a little bit of roasted malt, little bit of vanilla, and like that cinnamon dryness, but I'm not picking up on a huge blueberry presence. There's a very, very slight tart blueberry presence halfway through the palate. There's also really no detection of the graham cracker crumbles. Like I thought there would be a distinct graham cracker flavor here. There's not. So does this drink like a Blueberry Cobbler Imperial Stout? Not for me. If I was doing this blind, I think I would be hard pressed to tell you there's blueberries in here. It could be just my terrible palate, or it could just be the beer itself. Who knows? If you've had this one, let me know what you thought about it. And did you pick up the blueberries? Did you pick up the cinnamon graham cracker crumbles, so on and so forth? For me, I'm not really getting it. Though I will say, this is a very well-made Imperial Stout. It hides the alcohol extremely well. I'm getting the base Imperial Stout, a decent amount of it anyway. And yeah, there's not much bad to say about this one, but so many people out there talk about, you know, like if it doesn't say what's on the label, you know, they're disappointed. And I totally get that. If I bought this on the premonition that it is a Blueberry Cobbler Imperial Stout and it just ended up being a good Imperial Stout, why am I buying it, right? That's the whole thing. I think I paid $5 for this can. No, it was more than that. It was probably like $6.50 for a 12% Imperial Stout. $6.50 is fine. 16-ounce can. I'm okay with it. Proper value. But I'm not getting what's on the label. I'm not getting what's supposedly in here. I will say I don't rate this a style. If I was rating this a style, this would get under a 3 out of 5 for me. If you're talking about Blueberry Cobbler Imperial Stout, this really doesn't hit the nail on the head for me personally. But as far as a decent, solid, good drinking Imperial Stout goes, yeah, I'm going to give this a 3.75 out of 5. So that was Blueberry Cobbler Imperial Stout, a part of the Transgression series from Foreign Objects, 3.75 out of 5. Again, if you've had this one, I really want to know what you think about it. I'm a little bit let down, or I'm quite a bit let down from what's on the label, but at the end of the day, I review based on, you know, how much I enjoy the beer, and I'm digging this one. I think it's a solid Imperial Stout. I'm gonna have no problems drinking the rest of this. It's not too sweet, it's not too boozy. It's pretty damn good. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review. Until the next one, cheers.